DFS show with John Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, FA Nation? John Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS Playbook Preview Show. We're looking at the Wednesday 14 game main slate. It's the last big slate before the NBA All-Star break. We have one more slate on Thursday. But this is a biggie. 14 games. We got a bunch of teams on back-to-backs, a bunch of teams, basically every team that played on Tuesday has a back-to-back here on Wednesday. Is that correct, James? I think that's what we looked at.
Yeah, every team.
On Tuesday slate. So a lot to watch out for. A lot of injury news. A lot of injury news we've already gotten. A lot of guys ruled out already through the injury, through the All-Star break. But with it being 14 games, there's a lot to go over. Starts at 7 p.m., ends at 9 p.m. So they are jamming 14 games in 2 hours. So it'll be a lot of action to go on. All the top guys are there. Jokic at 12.5, Wemby at 11K, SGA 10.8, Luka 10.7, LeBron 10.5. We'll see if either of them play. Cade on the back-to-back 10.4, and Embiid on the back-to-back 10K. So again, a lot of options for us on this main slate to go over. Since we have a lot to get to, we won't waste any time. We go position by position. We appreciate you all tuning in. Hit that like, that share, that subscribe. If you're new, welcome in. Excuse me. Point guard. James. SGA, 10.8. Luka made his Lakers debut. 10.7. Cade. Have himself a nice first half here against the Bulls. 10.4.
Won't play in the second half. Probably
not, right?
They're up 50.
They're up 50. Yeah, he had himself a day. Talk to me about the top point guards. Again, there's a lot of players to get to. So we probably won't cover everybody. We'll go live at 5 p.m. Eastern time. We'll get a better picture on where the slate's heading, but thoughts on the early look?
A lot of interest in SGA always. Little to no interest in Luka. He might not even play heading into the All-Star break. Not going to pay it anyway because he's going to be limited. And Cade and Chicago is just running right back. Do I think it's going to be a 50-point game again? No. But obviously, Chicago's a train wreck, and they thought they would be competitive, and they're not. So perfectly fine going right back to the Cade well. But Cade and SGA stand out to me there.
Yeah, 11, 5, and 7 at halftime right now. Detroit up 71-29 there in the first half of that game. Maxey, what in the world is going on? I mean, we made us look bad here a little bit. Like, this guy's infallible. It doesn't matter if Embiid and George are playing. He's taken 6 total shots so far. 3 minutes to go in the game. They're only down 3. He's 0 for 6 shooting. He has 2 actual points in this game. I would expect him to bounce back against Brooklyn, but he's $9,800. You got Trey at 96. Edwards at 95 after his third straight 40-plus actual game. You got Lillard there at 95. Irving, Booker, Barnes in the 9K tier.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder because the minutes for Maxey are like a little bit limited too. So I wonder if that was intentional, given it's a back-to-back, knowing that Embiid's not going to play tomorrow.
Could be.
Maybe it was intentional. Who knows? But yeah, obviously, I'd never say it makes us look bad, just considering, we talk about hundreds of players a night. It is going to happen. Players are not going to be good every single night. And this is, I bet you can count on one singular hand over the last 2 years, Tyrese Maxey single digit.
I know, right?
So that's
a
just
5% Maxey night, and he goes in eggs. And obviously I say that jokingly, making us look bad, but right. Definitely on a short slate, we're like, hey man, great pivot. Whoops.
Yeah. I mean, definitely a bad night, but no Embiid, really good matchup, bottom 5 defense. I'd definitely go back to the well. Yeah. Trae Young continues to be good. He wasn't good against Orlando. Orlando's also good defensively, but he has been he has been largely really good, and the minutes have been elite. Atlanta's won 3 in a row, so I like Trey.
And we have the Madison Square Garden in New York.
We have Trey and MSG. We'll see if Ant plays. He's questionable with the hip again. Obviously, it didn't really slow him down last game. I'd imagine he plays, but obviously the hip is concerning after he plays 36 minutes and he re-pops up on the injury report. But if he's good, all systems go. We know there's no Giannis. Dame listed probable. He's been awesome offensively the last, week or so. So I love Dame as well. Can play Kyrie in tournaments. I mean, everyone for Dallas has broken down.
Dude, now no Gafford for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. So you can get to Kyrie in a tournament. He's going to be the only chance that they have of keeping that game close. Booker definitely fine in tournaments. Scotty Barnes fine in tournaments as well.
Sure. Chef Curry looking really good. I don't know if he's just rejuvenated or what's going on here, but this man is not missing shots. He's obviously had a good run of matchups in Dallas. Probably can present another opportunity for him to put up some points. Reeves, again, we'll see if he himself has a little injury tag here. He is probable, but if there is no LeBron, there is no Luka. You could have a solo Austin Reeves here.
Bron's probable. Okay. Luka's the only questionable here.
We'll see. We'll see what happens, but sure. Maybe no Luka. Could have still. Austin Reeves been looking great. He's got Utah. Jalen Brunson, Amon Thompson, again, the whole crew. Halliburton, Murray, Fox, Hero. 14 games, a lot of 8K plays here.
I want to play Jalen Brunson on Thursday or Wednesday because I'm just mad at him for Wednesday for Tuesday. He had 5 fouls 3 minutes into the second half. I mean, that's just not even like realistic. Like, we're not talking about Asar Thompson. We're talking about Jalen Brunson with that many fouls, like that soon into the game. Like, you're just dead if you play Jalen Brunson. So I want to play him just because I know he's going to go off. Like, just to like be like, haha, you decided to not play. You played me last night.
Yeah.
Haha.
Now, we have talked about this specific spot for him before. He's actually performed fairly well. But we talk, obviously, he's going to be the one that draws the Dyson Daniels matchup. But as we've talked about last game out, 34 actual against them. So did not bother him in that most recent matchup for him.
Yeah, it's fine. I like Brunson in tournaments. Going back to I don't think OG plays, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see if he plays. Was obviously ruled out on the Tuesday slate. Amon Thompson has a ceiling. Hasn't really flashed in the last few games. That doesn't mean he won't do it here. The minutes are super secure, and Houston needs a win, dude. They've lost a lot of games. I think 6 in a row, and they're now like 1 game out of the play-in. They were just the 2 seed like a week ago. So you need Amon Thompson here. I like him. We'll see if Hero plays. I don't really have much interest anyway. I'd suspect Halliburton to be like maybe popular because it's Washington, but man, the worst feeling ever is Tyrese Halliburton in a spot against Washington because, like, in theory, it's like great spot, and then you look and Tyrese Halliburton's taking 9 shots. You're like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yep, he's 5 for 11 right now, so we'll see when if he gets back in there, or if he can turn his night around. Siakam doing the damage tonight and Matherin off the bench for Indiana. But Halliburton
Thomas Bryant.
Thomas Bryant having himself a good day. Jahlil Okafor was eligible to make his debut, has yet to enter the game. We'll see if he actually does or not. The one game Halliburton played against Washington, he obviously lit him up because it's Washington, so that happens. De'Aaron Fox gets Boston here. 46 fantasy points for him last time out, 30 actual in that game against Washington. Wemby also had a big game in that one against Washington. I guess we'll see who plays for Boston, right? Like, they've been without Jrue Holiday. Jaylen Brown missed last game. Tatum was a game time decision, ends up playing. Maybe Tatum sits. Maybe Brown misses again. Like, what do we think happens with Fox here?
I mean, Fox, I think, is a good play regardless of what happens with Boston. So I'd play him regardless of who's in and out in Boston.
We had chalk pool day the other day. Did not work. Do we go back against Indiana?
You can. It's a really good paced game. That game's going to have a bajillion implied points. 239.5, 10-point spread. So, yeah, you can definitely go back to that. Well,
okay. What was the other one I wanted to mention there? The Murray Portland game. Do we think Portland has it in them to play a competitive game against Denver? Or is Denver just running through everybody?
I don't know, man. I mean, they are really running through everyone. No Ayton, no Scoot.
Mm-hmm.
Already both ruled out. Obviously, don't love that. Denver's running through everybody. I'm not predicting blowout. So
Sure.
I will go under the assumption that this game can stay competitive.
All right. You get Derek White at $6,600. Anthony Simons, as you mentioned, already a bit of a shorthanded Portland team there. Emmanuel Quickly, someone that we were high on tonight, having himself a really good game. Minutes are nice. Does he do it on a back-to-back, though? Do we think?
I wonder if he plays on a back-to-back.
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah,
do we think
closing.
He's there for a back-to-back or not?
I don't know. He's in the closing lineup. He's going to finish with 34 minutes. So I would venture to say no, but I also I don't know.
Sure.
If he plays, it's fine. It's also a tough spot. I think like in that price range, I'd rather play Derek White if there's no Jaylen Brown, and I'd rather play Simons shorthanded. We're going to get 40 minutes out of Anthony Simons. There's in a competitive game where he makes shots, he's going to play 40 minutes. So that would probably be the direction I'd go, and I'd feel pretty confident about it because, again, I'm not going to sit here and try to predict a blowout and when it's going to happen because, like, I'm going to predict a blowout, and then the game that Jokic is going to go for 100, and I'm not going to play that. So I think Simons actually correlates pretty well with Jokic if that's like a direction you want to go because the only way you're getting full run out of both of them is if Simons is, no Scoot, no Ayton. Klingon's not offensively gifted.
No.
And you just lost your best, like, Scoot off the bench, has been really, really good over the last, month or so.
Yeah.
So you need peak Simons. So I like Simons to pair with, in your Jokic lineups for sure.
Status quo for Boston, Peyton Pritchard. 6K,
yeah.
Price is up, but he's been that guy again.
Yeah, I would say we see a slightly different line. My expectation would be less of a few categories and more of another.
He got almost a double-double in rebounds and assists.
I would venture to say Peyton Pritchard makes a couple more shots, and maybe when the shot's falling, there's a little less of Now, I'm not saying he's a good small guard rebounder.
Yes. He
is a good passer. I also think that when he's 2 of 9, 1 of 8, he's trying to impact the game in other. You're trying to impact the game in other ways, and he can. So I think when the shot's falling, he has, I think, triple double this year, or he came close to triple doubling a couple times. So I think that there's it's on the table, but I don't. Yeah. I wouldn't expect it.
He's come close. He's come within a rebound or 2 or assist or 2.
Okay.
Of it. Yeah, because he has 2 double-digit rebound games this year. So
I mean that's crazy. That's crazy considering what we're talking about here. We're talking about Peyton Pritchard, who's maybe if you measure him wearing his sneakers, he's 6 feet tall.
Yeah, I was gonna say they probably listen to 6'3", I bet. 6'1". 6'1" is what they got him at.
Yeah, but that's in sneakers. How tall is Peyton Pritchard? I'm not saying I'm 5'10" in sneakers, so I'm not complaining, but
you were early on the Collier train. Continues to be a productive guy here. Flirting and getting some double doubles, helping the ceiling. The minutes are legit for him. So and they're running that matchup back, right? So
yeah, I mean it's not a good matchup but what I think the most important thing here is that was a blowout from start to finish. First quarter, 20-point game.
Mm-hmm.
Isaiah Collier played 33 minutes, and he starts. not a lot of things you dislike about that, right? A starter that plays 30 minutes and plays in blowout too. You don't really find many guys like that.
Oh, I agree. All right. Anybody else, I guess, in this mid fives, low fives range?
Stephon Castle, I didn't love the minutes in Washington, but he was still really good. So I'd like to see the minutes trending back up because he was obviously a flamethrower in terms of fantasy production. They extended Chris Paul because, they, of course, when you get the chance to extend Chris Paul, you got to do it, right?
At the expense of Castle.
At the expense of Castle, right? I guess it'd be interesting. Ty Jerome is questionable. Yeah. Man, it'd be
Carrington still played really well again.
He did. I don't love that the minutes went that direction, though. Sure. I think the appeal for Carrington was that he played 38 minutes in the 3 games prior, and then they get a little healthier and he plays 28. I'm not playing Bub Carrington at 28 minutes at that price. I'm playing Bub Carrington at 38 minutes at that price.
What else do we think goes down here? Sorry, you mentioned you were going minutes for who on that one before?
Jerome. I was just looking at Jerome. It was interesting. I didn't realize he popped on the injury report. That's a little interesting because that would probably be what's his name? Craig Porter as like straight backup run, and Craig Porter is a pretty good fantasy player.
Yeah, no, I mean that would be something to pay attention to for sure. Dinwiddie had an okay game the other day. I guess we'll see what happens with Tyus if there's no Beal or anybody else on the back-to-back.
They ruled. I think they ruled Beal out through the All-Star break.
Okay.
I think that was the
I got 20 minutes. Is there anything else down here that you would play?
They started Moses Moody the other day. I don't know if you saw that. He is now point guard, small forward, which is just wrong. That was a misclick for sure. But they started him. He played 33 minutes. They started him over Pajemski. If he were to start again, I wouldn't hate it. I do think Jamal Shed probably starts and quickly sits. They have Jamal Shed at 4K. I think that's preparation that quickly would be out because he hasn't been more than $3,500 in any slate. So if quickly were to sit, I think Jamal Shed season is upon us. Jordan Goodwin has been very good, and it's been very weird to see because he's playing like regular minutes.
And now maybe no Luka, you think?
Yeah, and possibly no Luka. I mean, if they don't play Luka, then there is legitness to Jordan Goodwin. If Tyler Hero does not play, I guess we could go back to Alec Burks at $3,500. I don't know if they're going to go with that starting lineup, but they got off to a really good start with it, and then everything kind of fell apart after that. But they did get off to a very good start with the Alec Burks led lineup, so something to consider there.
Sure. Shooting guard. Excuse me. There you go. Booker. Talked to Edwards already. He's up here. Donnie Mitch, Murphy, a lot of guys we've touched on. I guess of this top half, anybody you want to specifically highlight?
I mean, Trey Murphy was in a game that they lost by 36, and he played 34 minutes, and he had 40 fantasy points. CJ McCollum's listed questionable. With a personal issue, if McCollum doesn't play, then I would probably go to Murphy there. Okay. Of that range.
All right. Jaylen Brown's 8K. We'll see if he plays or not. Jalen Green 72, Dyson Daniels 71, Jordan Clarkson $6,600.
Yeah, I mean, Jalen Green, I think, is a really good tournament play here. Just kind of been fine lately, Just okay. But I think this is
more shots, man. That's all it is.
Yeah, he just needs to make more shots. If Dyson Daniels can stay out of foul trouble, this is obviously like a foul baiting game. He's going to be guarding Jalen Brunson, who has the most fakes and some of the best footwork into a fake of all, in all the league. If he can stay out of foul trouble, Dyson Daniels is playing monster minutes. I don't know what the 33 minutes was about there, but He's been playing monster minutes. They're without Krejci as well, so like more wing depth depleted. I like Dyson Daniels quite a bit. You mentioned Clarkson. There's always a ceiling for Jordan Clarkson without Colin Sexton in the lineup as well.
They keep setting his 3-point prop at 2.5. He has obliterated that since he's returned. It was 2.5 again last night. It was like easy play. Like take it.
Right. Yeah. He's good, dude. He's a very good offensive player. So yeah, I mean Clarkson. We talked Derek White, Oubre probably back in play, assuming Embiid doesn't play. We don't even know if Paul George is going to play in a back-to-back.
I was going to say, you might have both of those guys out.
I think it's Paul George because the last injury was the finger, right? He like broke his finger or tore something in his finger, so I assume he'd play. But you know, we've also assumed that with the Sixers before, and has not been the case. Yeah, it's one of those. I don't know. It's just
36 minutes, 35 minutes. Like we care about the minutes, right?
We do. We also care about why is he so inconsistent with his volume. It's just there's never consistency. It's been my gripe with Koulibaly since last year. Like sometimes sometimes you come out, he's like 6 shots in his first run, and you're like, wow, looks like a different player. And then it's like, oh right, he reminds us like, no, it's still the same guy. And that's always like the frustrating part about rostering him.
Sure.
And now the price is only going up. Like I'd rather play Christian. Like you're flashing on the screen. I'd rather play. It's the same minutes, right? But look at with the rotation. Look at the Christian Brown shot volume, right? We're talking about consistency with like similar type players, defensive players that are in their second and third years, that are one's consistently going out there and shooting and like being everywhere, and the other one's not. So for cheaper, I'd rather just play Christian Brown in the spot against Portland because, as we've seen, and you messaged me about your cash on Monday, Christian Brown played the whole fourth quarter basically. Like he played the first like 10 minutes of that game.
Yep.
So like even in a scenario where you're thinking, oh well, there's might be a blowout, doesn't matter. He's gonna play 10 minutes in the fourth quarter, and then you get the back-to-back Christian Brown fourth quarter runs have been legendary because like these stat lines have been good going into the fourth quarter and have turned great because
he doesn't come off. He
doesn't come off the floor. Doesn't come off.
And you mentioned no Michael Porter Jr. in that last game just helps like everything else for that guy.
Yes,
so.
yes. MPJ I think is questionable here. And you never know if they're gonna play, right? Like it's kind of so.
Vassell, Kamara, you mentioned they're down men. Tamani Kamara, 6K. Beasley, another good night shooting the 3 for Beasley here. Thoughts on this like tier? I guess Sharp would really be the play, right? No Scoot. This is where we would go because he should see 30 minutes in this one.
Yeah, Scoot and Banton are probably your 2 like wings off the bench, right? So yeah, I think Shaden is really good at 54.
Yeah,
really good at 54.
And again, no knock on the other guys, but yeah, Sharp is a guy that we've been looking to key in on. What do we think of Clay? Again, only 26 minutes is a little weird on a game where they're down so many people, but do we think he's worthy of it?
I think I'd rather play Buddy Hield for 200 less on the other side of the game. I think there's just been more production from Buddy Hield. They're like the same player at this point, right? You are banking on a hot shooting night, but Buddy has been better peripherally. So I'd lean probably Buddy's direction.
Okay. Conley, we don't know the status of yet, right? Could have another.
Yeah, I would not play NEW unless Ant was out.
Okay.
It's Ant related for me because like it doesn't matter if Conley's out. We saw it. NEW started. He had 18 fantasy points.
Sure.
It's like I would rather play like Christie or Hield probably at that same price tag. Karis LeVert at 48 I think is a lot. It looked really good.
Well, you said what happened to Daniel's minutes in that game a little bit. I think LeVert just got hot and they went LeVert.
And plus like no Krejci, right? So like less wing availability for Atlanta. They traded Hunter, obviously less wing availability there. So this has been like one of the better bench players this year. I mean, 45, shooting 45% from the floor, 40% from three. I'd expect Karis LeVert to kind of be like their DeAndre Hunter, right? Like isn't this what we saw from Hunter? 30 minutes, like 18 points off the bench.
Yep, and LeVert historically a little bit better peripheral guy too.
Yep,
so.
Better peripheral guy. Yep, you're right.
You were in on Quentin Grimes again. Not a good game. I don't think he had a good game.
No, he did have a good game. He started, and he did. Yeah, and he started the second half.
Yeah,
he started the second half over Edwards.
Right. Yeah, really good game. So did Jared Butler. Again, fantasy point per minute month. But yeah, Grimes, you've been high on him since he's played well, since he's come on that team. So you think there could be no George, no Embiid at $4,700 for Quentin Grimes here?
Yes. I'd assume he'd be low owned because Nick Smith is going to start and play a bunch of minutes. Rip low. And no LaMelo Ball and no Mark Williams and
did we talk Simpson at point guard or?
No, we didn't. But that's a good shout.
Something to be there. Grady Dick 4,400 again. If there's no Quickly because of the back-to-back, I know it's a tough spot, but Grady Dick had a very bad first half and then a very good second half of this game. Finished with 17 actual, 3 steals and 4 rebounds. What else do we think down here? Anything?
Trying to think if there's anything we need to. The Gary Trent minutes were fine, but once again, we see Gary Trent is really make dependent. They started Neesmith on the Tuesday slate. I don't know if they would again. Sam Merrill could be in play. Sam Merrill played 29 minutes against Minnesota. If there's no Ty Jerome, I'd expect Sam Merrill to continue to play big minutes. He's actually played a lot of minutes lately. He's $3,500. He's played 23 or more minutes in 6 consecutive games.
I like it. We know he can shoot threes, right?
Yeah, I mean he is talk about scoring dependent. I mean that's the only thing he's doing. So we need the scoring to come through.
All right. Anybody else?
No.
Okay. What did Pickett do in that game? 29 minutes. All blowout, do you think?
No, he's in their rotation. Michael Porter. If Michael Porter's out, I'd go there. Okay.
Small forward then, all the way up here. LeBron probably said 10-5. JT $9,900. Scotty Barnes with a really big game against Philly here. 33, 10, 3, 1, and 2 for Scotty Barnes on Tuesday. Franz Wagner, I texted you that both Banchero and Wagner had huge games against Atlanta. This guy is out of his mind. Now gets Charlotte, and they're just like barely touching his price tag. Did you just see the text message that I just got?
Bol
is starting.
Is in the starting lineup for the Phoenix Suns.
I have to go make a late lineup adjustment here. A little Bol in my life.
Bol. That is the biggest starting lineup possible. You have
Richards, Bol, Durant at the 3.
You have back in the heyday. You have KD back at his. I mean, that's great. That is a crazy starting lineup. Bol starting. I mean, for anyone that played Showdown, for anyone that has a lot of late exposure, you might want to switch some things around a little bit.
Might want to do that. Let's see here. So Wagner, I think, is kind of the clear play. Nothing against Tatum, who scored. I was texting you. I was like, hey man, I got a low roster Tatum and Peyton Pritchard. This could go well. And then you were like, well, yeah, if you flipped what Pritchard and Tatum were doing at halftime, you'd be excited. And then Tatum scored 20 actual in the second quarter.
I told you he was just scoring every time down. The game just blew out.
Yeah, ended up being 20 actual in the third quarter for Jason Tatum. So Always capable of getting there, but hard to just not play Wagner the way he's going. Nothing against LeBron, nothing against Tatum or Barnes, but Wagner should be priced with those guys, and he's not. So it's kind of where I would look to go. Agree? Disagree?
I'm sorry. I'm stuck on Bull.
I know.
I can't get over it.
I just had to make a swap. I probably regret the swap I'm making, but I'm just going to instantly react to the lineup news.
You're not playing Tyus Jones and you're playing Bull. All good.
Yeah, that's what happened.
That's exactly.
I'm also not playing Jaren Jackson Jr. anymore. I got up to Kevin Durant, so we're just out here.
We're out here. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what you said. I don't know what you said.
I said at $8,700, you'd rather just play Wagner the way he's going than 10-5 LeBron, 9-9 Tatum.
I would say I largely agree. I would have probably different feelings come lock if we knew Luka wasn't going to play.
Okay, you'd rather play LeBron at that point?
LeBron, yeah, probably. I'm not gonna say yes. I'm not gonna say no, but I probably, considering how freaking good LeBron's been. Like I know Wagner's. Really
That's what I was gonna say. I mean, we got a guy.
I'm not saying he hasn't. I'm not. He's been scoring like
shot upside here. Like we're just.
LeBron has given us basically a chance at a triple double almost every night for the last it's like almost a month. He's I
agree.
So that because if there's no Luka, there's also they don't have. There's obviously a deficient roster.
No Anthony Davis anymore, right? So
they do not have Anthony Davis. So I might change my mind, but I agree with what you're saying, considering Luka being in.
Dude, I played Jimmy the other day.
He has been so good.
Yeah, you said it yourself, right? It's just like he doesn't know the plays. He's just out there playing basketball. Well, guess what? He's actually pretty good at doing. Good at playing. Dude, 12 of 15 from the line. He's good at getting to the free throw line.
Steph, I heard this question today, John. Has Steph Curry ever played with anyone like Jimmy Butler? That can just relentlessly get to the foul line the way he does.
Probably, I don't think he ever wanted to. I mean, he did play with Kevin Durant,
Sure, but I don't even think Kevin Durant was so good in the mid-range that I feel like half the time that Kevin Durant could have gone to the rim, he'd be like, nah, I'm 7 feet tall and you can't block this shot.
Yeah.
I don't think he's
been afforded the opportunity to play with elite players, but probably nobody better at driving like Butler.
Yes, that's specifically what I'm talking about. Like this, no coincidence, right? Jimmy has all this space to operate, and Steph is taking all this 3-point volume with Jimmy. Like it seems early returns seem to be pretty good on all fronts here. And I'd only expect after basically not playing for 2 weeks that Jimmy Butler's minutes are trending upwards too. Like 29, 31, as he learns the plays, as he's getting more conditioning in, it's like 34, 35 minutes nightly.
Yeah, I agree. Dude, $7,900 is cheap. Right now, too cheap.
Too cheap.
The rest of this tier, you got Hart, Jalen Williams at 76 now. DeRozan 7K, Levine in the spot. Laurie look like he's gonna be good to go at 69. What do we think here?
Well, Josh Hart is having a game, which is to be expected because that's what he does. I mean, I like Josh Hart if there's no OG. I truthfully, I really like the Jalen Williams price. He has kind of been affected by Chet returning. Chet's not playing in this game. So I like the J-Dub price, 76 with no Chet. Levine, the price is pretty appealing. He just hasn't made a shot since going to Sacramento. DeMar DeRozan made a lot of shots the other day, including the game-winning shot at 7,000 against the Pelicans. I'd be in a lot of things Sacramento. I think a lot of things Sacramento make a lot of sense. If PJ Washington plays, you definitely can get to some PJ Washington. If Larry Markkinen, is going to get anywhere close to 40 minutes, I think there is like a little bit of upside at this price. You can go back to Kobe White if you want. If Michael Porter plays, like he's obviously been amazing pre this injury. I hate it.
They gotta play him.
I hate seeing his face. I hate seeing his face. You think that. You think that they have to play him.
They have to play him.
You think that they have to play him, and then they're like, haha, joke is on you. Yeah. Like, well, like, we're sitting here saying, like, Shaedon Sharpe, they'll just, like, all the minutes that Denny should play goes to Sharpe, and then Delano Banton's just, like, playing all the Denny minutes. It's like, oh, like, yes, I agree with what you're saying. Denny,
Kyle Kuzma would be the chalky play again. 34 minutes starting. Price is on the rise, obviously, but
yeah, I would say it's probably not as appealing as it's been because for no reason he was 38, and then the DraftKings admins were like, guys, what are we doing? Please, and then now he's like back to where he was priced in Washington.
Good. Jaden McDaniels again. He had those big games here. $6,300.
If Ant
Hachimura would be the big play at 61 if there's no Luka.
Yep.
He's been good anyways, but
he's been great. Yeah, he's been great.
Add in the way it goes there. Cam J at 59. We talked about this. Like if he gets to 30 minutes, goes down to 25. Like
no, everything Brooklyn, get it out of my face.
It's so annoying, right? Like we think we're getting it, and then they take it away. But the production's been good. He continues to be really good there.
I like that description, by the way. We think we're getting it, and they take it away.
They take it away. Oscar Thompson had a really good game and then got 5 fouls, and they're up 50. So,
Yep.
He's probably done for the night at this point, but, always some high upside. They're running that back. DeAndre Hunter played 23 minutes in that game. Obviously, they won by a blowout. He also had 5 fouls. Better spot for him against Toronto here. What are we thinking at value small forward?
Yeah, I like the Hunter price if he starts again. We'll see if Strus plays or not. I believe Strus is questionable. So, we just saw it. If Strus doesn't play, we'll get DeAndre Hunter 5K. We could play Karis LeVert here. If there's no Porter, Julian Strawther has been really good in back-to-back games. If you want to go to Strawther, another guy that will close in blowouts. Let's see. Ricochet, the minutes. I'd assume we get like pretty good Ricochet minutes here. Maybe I'm wrong, but no Krejci, no Larry Nance Jr. So I would say you'd probably feel better about it if Mo Gay wasn't starting, because then Mo Gay
But then they didn't even play Mo Gay more than like the whatever minutes he got in that game.
That's true. Then they went back to they just played Georges, right? Like Niang just played a bunch, and LeVert played a lot. So Ricochet, like in large field stuff, I think is fine. I don't think. I guess. Let's see what New Orleans does. You know what I think they're gonna do? If McCollum sits, I think Bruce Brown's gonna start. I listened to David. David Griffin is that? Yeah, David Griffin is the GM. Talk about Bruce Brown and Kelly Olynyk, and he kind of was like, these players are not for just now. We're building with these players. We're putting players around Zion. That's what he said. We're putting players around Zion that fit Zion. Mm-hmm. So I think Bruce Brown could start here in his debut, and that would be really appealing at 4,100. So if Bruce Brown were to start for New Orleans, I would have a lot of interest there. We'll see if he does or doesn't, but if he is in the starting lineup, I have a bunch of interest. Svi played a bunch of minutes. You can always play Svi. Salon has played a bunch of minutes for for Charlotte the last couple games, 27 and 31. I don't think the minutes are going to go anywhere. I mean, we talked about this. Like, they are tanking. they stink. They have a lot of injuries. Like they're gonna start playing these dudes. So I don't hate Salon as a punt option.
Power forward. Again, a lot of these guys we have discussed, but you have Durant at 9K, Miles Bridges, Zion at 85, Banchero's 83, coming off of finally a huge game for him. What do you think in this 8K tier?
Yeah, it's a really good power forward. Durant, you can play in tournaments. Miles Bridges, no LaMelo Ball, you can play in tournaments for sure. You brought up Zion, only had to play the 26 minutes because of the blowout. Also had 5 fouls. Really good spot. And oh, by the way, 2 games ago, this really good spot resulted in a really good outcome. Not going to sit here and say Zion's going to go 16 of 21 again, but I'm just saying.
Back home for the first time in 4 games.
Sacramento's not good defensively. So I like Zion. Love Mobley always in tournaments. Evan Mobley has 60 in 2 of his last 3 games. And then Paolo. I think Paolo is someone that you want to like play when he's feeling good. This was like the string before he got hurt. And like right when he came back, he was like so good. I think I don't love the minutes. Like I love the 37 minutes that we got and like max minutes when he like originally came back. And I don't love the 33, but I can deal with it if he's making a bunch of shots.
Okay. Mid-tier range, we talked Hart and Butler already. Siakam, again, having a really good game tonight. Let's see. Last check. New York started pulling away, by the way, in that one. But Siakam has 24, 5, 1, 1, 1 in 34 minutes. There's 7 minutes left in that game, but they're down 15. So we'll see if he comes back in or not. But he's been really good. Gets the Washington matchup that we'd obviously look to take advantage of. Reed versus Portis. Yeah, Collins down this group as well. What do we think happens there?
Yeah, I mean, Naz Reid would be close to a must play if we don't have
Edwards.
And yeah. I like the Siakam shout. We already know Miles Turner's out. And I don't think you said 34 minutes for Pascal Siakam with 7 minutes left.
Yeah.
That goes to show you what Rick Carlisle thinks of this game, right? Indiana's 4th in the East. Knicks are 3rd in the East. Like that matters, right? Like you're going to get max minutes from a lot of these starters.
Pacers timeout, 7 minutes to go. They might check him back in right now.
Dude, he might, if he plays 40 minutes, would he play 40 minutes the next night? I don't know. But it's like really good to see when you're looking at like Indiana, you're like, oh, they're running a playoff rotation in this spot. And I think that does lead you to believe he would do it again, especially with no Miles Turner. So I like Siakam. I like Naz Reid. The Bobby Portis thing is obviously a little bit of a tough situation. The 26 minutes were not because of foul trouble. He would have probably gotten to 30. I think it's a little bit of a concern that they kind of pushed him back to the bench in favor of Kuzma and Taurean Prince. So I think he's in play, but I definitely don't think at $6,900 it's like as surefire as we thought it was the other day.
Sure. What do we think in this low 6, high 5s? Anybody that we haven't talked about that you're interested in?
I mean, John Collins is just so consistent. If you want to just plug and play John Collins at 6,700. He played 39 and 36 minutes in back-to-back games. Just really good per minute guy. Talked Hachimura. Toby's really safe. I think Draymond is pretty safe as well. He's not shooting a lot, but I think there's a pretty safe floor. Tari Eason is okay. We haven't been getting like ceiling Tari Eason games, despite we're getting ceiling Tari Eason minutes. So I like the minutes for Tari. I don't love the production necessarily.
Chu is at 31 minutes right now. He's got almost a double-double, 9, 12, and 2 with a block.
Yeah, the price is pretty good for Precious. Oh boy, Jeremy Grant is questionable, John. If they don't have Jeremy Grant either, he didn't play. They would have to play Denny. They would start Shaden Sharp.
Yeah.
And then you're legit talking Delano Banton season.
Yeah.
Like you're legitimately gonna play Delano Banton.
Agreed. Najee Marshall's in play at $5,300. Again, they're just down so many bodies. Yep. I guess if PJ Washington comes back, maybe they play PJ Washington at the 5 because they don't even have Gafford now. Like, I don't know what they do, but I think Marshall's probably good. I would go back to Bazulis. He had a fine game. It's just that they're getting smashed. Maybe he checks in for some blowout run, but 19 minutes, 5 of 7 shooting, 12 actual. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, seems like his night's done, but also, who knows?
Yeah, they're down 50, so it's not really.
Yeah.
If he got his normal workload because they were in a competitive game, he probably has a better fantasy.
Joel Embiid said he is unsure if he will play on Wednesday.
Okay.
Which is not necessarily all too surprising.
Bobo starts today. He's 4,300 tomorrow. He starts tonight. 4,300 for Wednesday.
I can't believe the world we're living in. This world, this timeline.
If he plays anything north of 25 minutes as a starter tonight, he's plugged in immediately at $4,300. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Prosper has to play again if they're just down everybody. I mean, 34 minutes in that game.
I'm pretty sure if there's no I have quite literally no idea what they're gonna do. I'd assume if PJ doesn't play, do they have to play Kyler Kelly at center? Is that their only option? Because they don't even have Dwight Powell.
Right.
He's also out. And if they don't have PJ, I mean, Prosper is playing a bazillion minutes, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like you just said. So he'd probably be one of the more popular plays of the slate.
And then again, Niang got 24 minutes. He wasn't really good, but if you want to throw dart there. Anything else?
Hate that he came off the bench. Hate it. If he starts, I would go back to the well. They started Matt Kovic with CJM out. He's 4,100. Had a really good game. This is what he's done every time. A lot of rebounds, a lot of peripherals, okay points, but the production has been really good every time he's extended. So 4,100, if Matt Kovic found his way into the starting lineup, I would probably go there. Trying to see if there's anyone cheap. I know you played Mogay, but the minutes kind of sucked.
Yeah. I mean, the rest would just be we find out what Portland does. I mean, right?
Yeah, find out what
down there. Chris Murray's questionable.
What's that, game 9? Oof.
Yeah. If everybody gets out, those guys would end up being in play.
Yeah.
Let's go to center. You got Jokic at 12.5. Wemby had the big game against Washington, as we would have hoped for. But he gets Boston this go around. JoJo unsure. Sabonis is 95. Towns had a big game tonight at 94. You mentioned if that game stayed close, Joker was going for 80 again. It didn't. It hasn't. 12.5. Are you paying it again?
Yes, because he did most of that against Donovan Clingan. And Donovan Clingan's a pretty good defender, but he's a rookie, and he is going to be burnt toast trying to guard Jokic again. So the answer is yes, I will be going back to, yes, I am stubborn. If anyone has any questions, talk to my wife. She knows I'm very stubborn, but I will be playing Jokic. Dude, you can't tempt me with a cheaper Jokic than the last slate. And he's doing crazy things and not playing his fourth quarter shift the last 3 games. There's just, again, I already know what happens when I don't play Jokic. He plays 40 minutes. He goes for 100.
Yeah.
I message you and I say, I'm never playing NBA DFS again. And I'm so happy there's an all-star break soon.
All right, where are we going next? We get past the Joker. What's your next center that you want to play?
Jahlil Okafor.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely play Wemby. If Wemby, it all comes down to Wemby. Just like when Wemby is unstoppable offensively, he has a big game because he does so many other things. So when Wemby's scoring big, he's going to have a big game. Love Sabonis in tournaments. Love the minutes for Sabonis. They finally played him and Joe Val together a little bit, but I like Sabonis 95. You can play Towns in tournaments. He's going to be too much for a Kongwu. And then you get to like Zinger. If there's no Brown, he was like very disappointing in that spot against Miami. Considering who was out, he was very good. He was just a little disappointing. You would think without Jalen, without Drew, he'd do a little bit more, but he didn't.
Duran here, blowout again, only 23 minutes, 5 more assists, 4 points, 11 rebounds. So we talked. I gave out the assist prop on the radio today. It was 2.5. He had 5. He's now got 5, 6, and 7 assists the last 3 games, and he had 5 in 23 minutes tonight.
Dude, they're using him. They're using him as a playmaking hub. Like,
are we still getting a triple double from Duran? And like, I mean,
very live, very live to do it. Yep.
So you got that there. Jared Allen 64, Oni at 61 would be fine. Yabusele if there's no Embiid at 6K.
Yep. I think Drummond was a DMP.
Yeah. He'd be the backup, obviously, without Embiid.
He would be the back. Yeah, he'd be the backup. Yeah.
Rashawn Holmes, 5,100, still playing minutes, still making shots.
Yeah, I think Rashawn Holmes is fine.
Okay. Any other value? Do you like Jackson Hayes, Thomas Bryant, 5K against Washington revenge game?
Yeah. Dude, Thomas Bryant was really good on the Tuesday slate. 32 minutes. 18, 9, 4, and 1 for Thomas Bryant.
Yeah.
I think there is a case for Thomas Bryant for sure. Mobo will probably start again. No Pirtle. Aaron Gordon has been really good. Hasn't had to be extended. You can play Aaron Gordon here.
Yeah.
If that game stays competitive. Klingon played 21 minutes. He had best game for sure of the year. I don't know how much they'd be willing to extend him. I think Rob Williams is questionable. So like Duop Reith would be the backup. How much Duop Reith can you play against Jokic? So I think they would need Klingon to play as many minutes as possible here.
Any other value centers? Kelly, obviously, I guess if he was to start.
So I think Kelly, I guess. They moved
Adams if there's no Şengün.
I think there's a quote that said, I guess he's been cleared. I saw something that said like he was not going to play and now he's going to play. I'd be okay if he without Şengün. We didn't talk Diabate at 5K because he's listed. He has the questionable tag. If he were to play, I would play him. Mark Williams is out, and they've come out and said Nurkic is going to operate under a minutes restriction. So if we get Diabate in the starting lineup, well, who cares about your minutes restriction for Nurkic? It's not going to matter. Diabate's been so good.
I agree. All right, let's get a lineup going here. Are we plugging Jokic? This is what we're doing?
Day'Ron Sharp if Nick Claxton gets ruled out.
Okay. Where do you want to start?
There's so many players, man.
That's what I'm feeling, right? Like, what's our obvious value plays here?
Grady, KJ Simpson. Terrible spot. They're both in terrible spots. Thomas Bryant,
Merrill maybe. Merrill's playing anyways, right? So just
Bol, Karis LeVert.
Let's do all this around Joker.
We don't have to do Joker.
No, I'm good, dude. I'm good with Joker. He's got the highest ceiling of anybody. We got 7K to play. We got plenty of money to play with here. I like Butler.
Yeah, Jimmy's great.
$6,300 for a guard. Go like Collier here, and then 66 util. B just run it back with Duran or Oubre or Simons. Yeah, Simons. Where is he?
62,
63.
63.
There you go. All right, Collier, Dick, Levert, Bowl, Jokic, Merrill, Butler, Simons. Example lineup for everybody. We got a 5 p.m. live stream to do it all over again. Hopefully, we'll have some more clarity with the injury news, but it is a big slate. So get ready for a 14 gamer here on Wednesday. Ronnie and I will be back at 5. We'll talk to you later.